suddenly your mom enters and is like, that looks off. And I'm just like, what? How do you know that?
ठीक करने के लिए तो 3 घंटे किए हैं अभी आके ऑफ बोल दिया 1 सेकंड में.
The entire product that shaped the entire hip hop.
Yeah, it changed the hip hop scene for sure.
Yes.
Went back home, opened YouTube and how to edit.
Let's go.
Yeah, that is where I think learned everything from. I'm a learner. Like I'm never like you know.
I want to shoot a music video with an artist just in different parts of Bombay. A simple concept put together, right? Imagine how production nightmare this becomes automatically.
Pre-production is the only way to get over all of this.
I have worked with a budget which is just a 5,000 budget from Mere Gali Mein to a Gunegar where it's almost a CR that we crossed. But the vision is always the right thing.
Like the edit of Chuke, we did for 2 days, and the third night we sat for the 6 hours, and the whole video was changed, bro. It was another music video.
Both of us were like so shocked after looking at the first sketch. We're like, yo, we're having fun. You know, today we're having fun.
Once again, like, such a treat to have you guys on the panel, and I think...
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, bro.
So I think we get into the panel, and I think I've just curated some questions, and the idea is to not talk about the product or the final films that we deliver, because everybody is kind of in the community, kind of seeing who's doing what, but I'm more interested in knowing the processes of the film, right? What goes behind and what goes right, what goes wrong, but eventually we, like deliver it out into the platforms. So the first question as an icebreaker that I really want to ask you all is like one favorite music video. One favorite music video in your lives which you can go back to and refer, or maybe one music video that inspired you, back then when you started and you're like, oh fuck, this is something like, this is something that I want to make, or this is something that inspires me.
I already know Abhinay's answer, so I think Abhinay should go first and tell us.
Yeah, perfect, Abhinay. Yeah.
I'll go last.
Madhura, go for it.
I mean, for me, it's been like, to be really honest, it's been the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. So everything from that era has more or less inspired me. Everything from how the music videos in the movie, like Bollywood has been a major inspiration. So that has been like my into this industry, thinking, okay, this might be something interesting. What are people doing? How are people doing? So I think if I have to pick anything, it has to be Bollywood related. Yeah, because that is something that I saw first. And then I started sort of building an interest towards it. And then eventually I understood that there is an industry per se. Yeah. So I think Bollywood, and if I had to say on music video, there was this one girl group that I think Channel V had done, Viva.
Yeah.
They had the first music video that they had done. So basically that entire series on Channel V showed us the process of building an artist, training an artist. How do they prepare themselves to be on stage, off stage? And one episode specifically focused on them shooting a music video. So I think that was my into this industry. I thought it was very fascinating to see them go around and do dance and perform and lip sync and all of that. So I think Viva was like my first in and inspiration to be here at least.
Nice. The era that we kind of grew up in, I mean, 90s Bollywood was such a treatment on its own overall, I think, like, what about you, JD? Like, so curious to know, like, one video that
inspired me. I think it was India Club by 50 Cent. That's an iconic song and a video, and also it has so much going on in that video that when I look at that video, for me, it was like, what's happening here? Like, there's fashion, there's style, there's this music, there's a whole, even this whole concept where, 50 Cent comes upside down, which is like, how did they do this, So I think that's one of the videos that inspired me to also direct a music video, because I was like, I want to do something cool like that, So yeah, for me, it's 50 Cent in the club.
Yeah. Rishabh, for you?
For me, I'll tell you honestly, some of my own works only inspired me. So, first music video, to be honest, was Divine Satya, if you know.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting story. So, one of our common friend, Ujjwal Gupta, is a cinematographer. And so JDY told Ujjwal ki he is looking for some editor who'll do some
Basically do online stuff.
yeah. So he was already had done with the shoot, and he was looking for someone to spice it up, you know. So I went to JD, I met him, and he was like, "I'm already on it." He started briefing me about the video, and I saw the video, and I was like, "Cool." So I'll get on it. He gave me a copy with the hard drive, and he was like, "This is yours. You can go and experiment whatever you want. You can go full out." And being my Divine's first video, I was so excited. I took 5-6 hours. I sat, I think, 10 hours straight and cut some 30 seconds of it. I sent it to JD, and next day I got a call. As soon as I sent him, I didn't get a reply. So I was very curious. Did he like it or no? He's not replying. So what is it
I
about?
was
So,
busy watching the video on
so the
repeated.
next day I get a call from JD, and he's like, "Bro, I saw the video and I think this is the perfect zone I was looking for, and I think you should go ahead and do the whole video by yourself." So that's how it is, and it's one of the memorable one for me, because till now if I watch the video I just go nuts looking at my own video. It gives me goosebumps, you know. It was a moment for me.
One of the, I mean, that too COVID times, I think, you know. It
Right,
was-
even you were a part of that video, na? You were the
you worked
DA.
together on that one.
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
like the first video we
also
both worked together.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind
I
of,
think,
yeah.
It was a crazy one, man.
Yeah, and COVID times with restrictions, I think we were shooting this.
Exactly.
Madness. Abhinay, so curious again, like.
So for me, I don't think there was any music videos that inspired me. I think it's the life around me. Like I always like listening to music whenever I travel, so I put my earphones on. So I'll try to match the music through, like I tried, like if something is moving around me, I try to, like see how beautiful it can be with just the music. The visuals, I try to, like visualize my music with the visuals around me. So I think it's just the curiosity to listen to music kind of got me into making music videos.
And that's what, like, my second question also derives to is like the importance of the collaborative process or like collaboration, right? I think you meet people in this industry, you kind of tend to meet a lot of people, you know, but you kind of form your own team and trust some people that you want to work with back to back, right? Like, so how important and how different it gets when you're working with different collaborators? Does it really change, or you're always yourself when you're in the process?
I think collaboration is like the most important part of filmmaking, right? Because filmmaking is just not one person doing everything. And like I said, most of my iconic videos or the videos that I've done is because of collaboration with different artists. And most of them are in this room. Like Rishabh has been my collaborator for most of my videos. You've been collaborating with me on most of my videos. So I think collaboration is very important, and also while you collaborate, that's when you trust the vision of you get a second point of view, and it also lets you focus on just one aspect. Like for me, I used to, when I initially started filmmaking, I used to direct, shoot, in fact, make my own artwork, everything by myself. So, as soon as I started collaborating, like with different DOPs, different editors, different associate, that's when I got to focus on just one aspect, that's direction, and it helped me make my product even much better, because now it's not just you, it's like 5 different brains working on something that's so powerful to come out. So I think collaborating with anyone, different artists as well, is very important.
And in general, like, I would like to ask this to you, Madhura, because in a spectrum of different genres, like you work with an artist like MC Stan, also on the other hand, you work with someone like a Zayden, to a Kayan, like, so many artists, and like the spectrum is so, like, it's really so wide that, how do you manage your collaboration process? How do you keep your sanity? Because everyone
Yeah.
comes in with their own understanding and knowledge, right? Like,
Correct. So for us, it's a very adaptive process. It's also a process of actually trusting the other side, which is also technically the artist side. So what people sort of fail to understand is when we take a certain project to a production team or say a director or a DOP or anyone per se, they fail to understand that that is also an artist point of view coming in and adding to the project. So that is one thing that I try to sort of understand when I am technically standing in between an artist who has an audio product and who's looking to deliver a video product, and be a production team or a director who is going to give me that video product. So it's a very adaptive process, and a lot of these aspect depends on trying to put trust into each other's work, and also understanding that all of them get a certain type of experience to the table. Like for example, we've worked together on Zayden's multiple project, and the fact that I reach out to pasta with my eyes closed, knowing for the reason that I know it's a completely different genre, but I know there are people collaborating on this. So it's very important to get those point of view, and also to understand that it's the other side of the table is also an artist. And also getting their point of view will sort of shape out how the entire visual is going to look like.
Most importantly, what's realistic, because an artist can come with a vision, or they don't understand the production ways of working, and spot boys and like things, they don't understand, they just have a vision, or they have
Because
a
that's also like a creative mind, like you have this idea in your head, but then how to get that idea to reality is another different process that we have to go through. So
Exactly. So that entire process, while it looks like, okay, it's just a 3-minute video, it took us 3 weeks to get there with like 300 people putting everything. So by that means it's a collaborative and very adaptive process for everyone.
So for exactly, like so for example, sometimes we do a video, we get a brief, we hear the song, we create a treatment, it works out in 2 weeks, maybe we are shooting, but
Correct.
someone inside a label is maybe living with that song for over 6 months, constantly adapting to new
It
ideas.
tends to happen like
Even me, I have to hear that track on loop for maybe 7 days or 10 days.
yeah. I mean, that entire process is like the artist lives with it forever, and then for that 3 weeks, he has to share that vision with a person who has to sort of pick it up in less than whatever time the artist is playing around with it. So that's why all the doubts and fears is like, okay, this vision is what is on paper. So the process is kind of daunting also.
Yeah. You guys, because as your capacity as a DP and as an editor, you're collaborating with like always a different director, always a different producer. Let's keep the producer question aside. I think more about directors, the visionary guys out
See,
there.
speaking about collaborations, I've always been a good collaborator, I feel. Because
100%.
so, but whenever we start a process, I just take the brief from the director, and then I just tell him to leave me with the footages. Like, give me some time, let me get something that I'm thinking about the project, and then we can get on the table and collaborate. Like, even the producers and everyone's input, whoever is involved in the project matters. It's not just the director or the producer. Everyone's input, whoever is connected, it does matter. It does really matter, and it does make the video look good for sure.
Sometimes your best feedback your family members give you.
Yeah, surely,
You have to
surely.
show the video to them, and they give you the reality.
I do that sometimes. You get a third point perspective,
That
and
is
then
very
you think
humbling.
about that.
Like you've worked on an edit for like a week, and then suddenly your mom enters and is like, that looks off. And I'm just like, what? Oh, how do you know that?
उसको ठीक करने के लिए तो 3 घंटे किए हैं, अभी आके ऑफ बोल दिया 1 सेकंड में.
Abhinay, for you, I mean, internationally and here also, like, you've been collaborating with so many cool people. What's your process like? How do you receive ideas and how do you translate? Because with DOP, it's more intense, I think, because you're running against time on a set, right? Like, it's always the DOP's job per se to finish it on time nowadays, right? Like,
He's always ahead of time, I would say.
No. So I think collaboration is the only key to like make anything, like not just music videos, but also for films. But I think more than directors, it's also important to collaborate with other departments like production designers and also the producers. Because there are times when you have to think in a certain limit, You can't just think of maximum number. So it's also important to, keep those kind of things in mind. I especially like to know what the music artist wants for the music video. There are times, like they write a song and they have a certain vision in head. Like this is what they thought while making the music, while making the music. So I think, it's important to understand what the artist wants and how you visually try to portray that into the film is important. So
I think that's the most important. What the artist
what the artist
what the
wants,
artist wants,
yeah.
that's such a major part, like, right? So secondly, like, depending on what the artist wants or doesn't want, there's always the question of reality about how much money does the artist have or the label have. How do we, like, one thing that I want to talk about is like, making magic with constraints. I think we all have been there. we have some of the most spent videos doesn't get the eyeballs that one of the lowest budget videos that we do.
But I think when you make music video in a limited number, that I think that excels to the views.
Yeah, sometimes.
100%.
Because you have to
Like
cherish
recently
the
we
limited
did one more music video, Chuke Dekh, if you
Yes.
see. Like the edit of Chuke Dekh, we did for 2 days, and the third night we sat for the 6 hours, and the whole video was changed, bro.
We changed the edit in like what, 4 hours?
Yeah, 4-5 hours straight, and it was another music video. You could
And
not
we
say
were-
it's shot in a single place.
And we both of us were like so shocked after looking at the first cut. We're like, yo, we're having fun, Today we're having fun. Because sometimes it's also like you're so stuck in that vision when you make a treatment, right? Like, and you share the treatment to the artist, and they're all locked on that treatment. But I feel filmmaking, like especially music videos, so magical that when we go on set, and this is something I've experienced with you, Abhinay and Rishabh, when we go on set, we create something that's completely different from the treatment, and that works. So
Yeah,
the
you
whole
have to go
1 month of
spontaneous
creating this treatment, creating the whole is gone to put to side, and then we're like, okay, you know what? Now let's stick to this. So I think that's the beauty of music videos when it comes to
Like, I mean, but I still want to know more on, like, now, since we have done, like, everybody's doing quite well on the music video scene. But now, how do you approach low budget music videos? Does the song appeal you? Or sometime, of course, relationship is a very different tangent. Like, when you're friends or, like, families with the artist or, like, some kind of relationship share, it's a different thing. Monies don't matter. But for a newer one who's coming out there, or when he sends you the track and he expects you to work on this, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you on the other hand, like, how to convince that, okay, no, this is a sellout song, though we don't have money for this song, this particular song, because there's no label involved or anything, but how do you approach, like, in general, low budget filmmaking?
I mean, sometimes we do have to take the hard choices. Like when your artist approaches you with like a certain set of expectations, we do have to take that a step back and analyze, like, does this actually require that kind of investment? Like, we tend to plan out their entire release cadence also, like way before, like plan it out 6 months, a year in advance. So we have to sort of pick our battles. Like at that start of the year listening session, we just sit in the room, we decide, okay, this is the song that requires a full blowout budget. This one, let's just hold back. Maybe this one doesn't require.
Sometimes, like you said, it's right. There's a certain amount of budget that the A&R will come and tell us, okay, you have so and so amount of budget. But as a director or as a creative, when you get that song to you and you're confident about this project, confident about, okay, if there's a certain amount of budgets, for example, say there's just 5 lakh for this budget, but you're confident about this treatment that costs, say, like 9 lakh rupees, right? You, as a director, I should be able to be so confident in my vision that I sell that 9 lakh for them, because I'm not only just collaborating, but now it's my project. It's for me to bring more value to that, because like I said, like as a label person, you will always look at numbers and you look at stats, but as a creative, you have to be very
100%.
stuck to what's your vision at, and then bringing more value to the
And kind of
artist.
finding the right balance eventually,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Yes.
And Rishabh, do you
Bro,
edit low budget
budgets
videos
have
now?
always been a fight for me. Like always.
I think for everyone,
There's-
right?
Everyone.
It's never. I've never
Both the
received a call
sides.
from a producer कि भाई तू मांग कितना पैसा चाहिए तेरे को मैं देता हूँ ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ है. It's always the conversation starts off with like budget इसमें थोड़ा tight है. मतलब इसमें सब में ही tight होता है वैसे तो.
Budget tighter is the
But-
next merch we have to. Budget tighter.
So
Jay, I hope you're hearing this.
yeah. Is noting it down, I think. So so budgets have always been a fight, and but being a dancer, music always excites me, even if the budgets are lower and something is greater and you see scope in that. So I definitely go for it. It's always a yes from my side.
Yeah, I think that's the angle of like passion projects.
Yeah.
I mean, you sort of, in the heart of your heart, like this is the song and the vision is going to like pull through.
Correct, and that's the kind of sanity you're talking about. Because in commercials, I mean, I'm not, I'm a prodigy of commercials also, like I make commercials, so I don't want to like badmouth it, but sometimes you're lost in, like I keep saying, the sofa ka color and the curtain ka color so much, it doesn't matter who's sitting on the sofa at some point, like, it's like this. And you, Abhinay, like, like of course with DP, like, I always think, like people always might be saying, that's such a generic thing, like, budget nahi hai. People might be saying, ki, sir, FX6 pe shoot ho jayega kya? That's a very generic thing. Like, I mean, I'm not again bad mouthing Sony camera. We have all grown
No,
up
no,
and
no.
like, made our lives out of it. But
But I think sometimes those camera works out, you know. Sometimes you don't need a bigger camera. Like I think when you get
Agreed,
bigger
bro.
crew, you get bigger camera. That's when you restrict your vision to get what you want. So sometimes you have to appreciate the smaller bodies, and I think there's a beauty in that thing. It tries to make your life easier. But I think even my collaboration with JD, the music video Zanjeer that we shot,
Yes, yes.
I think it's a very beautiful music video.
It's
that
it's
Yeah,
one of the
I-
most
100
underrated
updates.
music
Sick. Yeah,
videos.
what a
Guys,
video.
please watch it. We'll have the link right down.
Yeah, 100 RVH one, no?
Yes.
So we shot on a smaller camera, and I think it was just the passion and how we were collaborating with each other.
Again, there, like everything that we are talking about, like of course we didn't have a budget for that, but like when I got the song, I heard the song, I had a vision for it, and then creating this, bringing the vision to life with Abhinay. We actually went to Amravati.
Yeah.
We traveled there. We were there for like 2 days. We had no recce done, nothing done, just this vision in the head that okay, we have to do something in Amravati, because obviously I was too tired shooting in Bombay and showing the gullies of Bombay. And we both just went and we didn't even do a recce.
Yeah, we didn't do Iraqi, and we just went all out.
We just went all out. We
Yeah.
took the cameras from Bombay. Obviously, we didn't have a budget to do on a bigger camera. And to be honest, the video that we shot wouldn't be possible in a bigger camera
And
as
I
well.
think if we had more budget, we would have. fucked
We
it
would
up.
have.
I think
That's
we
true.
would,
That's
yeah.
true.
So
But yeah, like he said, that's one of the big examples of a music video where you don't, for me, like right now, at least in this space where we don't, like, you can't restrict yourself to certain equipment, because right now you can actually shoot a sick music video with a phone, edit it, direct it, script it, and render it right out there. So it's
Idea मत दो भाई सबको.
I mean, just you can start off with that. But yeah, I mean, the whole point is like you don't need to restrict yourself. Like, and the reason why I'm saying this, because I have worked with a budget which is just a 5,000 budget from Mere Gali Mein to a Gunegar where it's almost a CR that we cross. But the vision is always the right thing. You have to know that okay, this video doesn't require a big camera. Like for yourself, just because you have access to certain equipments or certain people, you don't need to use that every time. So it's your job to know when you want to use a 5D. I'm saying 5D because I grew up in that 5D era. But yeah, so
5D is love, bro.
yeah, 5D is love.
I used to shoot weddings in that camera.
Me too. I used to shoot and edit weddings.
second thing, like on contrast of talking about the low budget filmmaking, right? I mean, now the other side of the story here is like, having branded commission projects, or, it's a great, honestly, if in a nutshell, I would like to begin with saying that it's a great place to be, because at least there is some money from brands being pushed in for the artists.
Yeah.
That lens I mean, I would always appreciate, but the moment there's a brand, the expectations, and then suddenly the video is not what you were thinking, and then it's all about the
Plus,
brand.
then you have two cuts. One is
Yes.
Yeah,
then
there's like a
comes
D cut, that's always there.
Yeah, then there's a D cut coming out.
But do you guys see if there's any pros and cons? I mean, of course, the cons is like we just spoke, but is there a thought behind, like, how to tackle brands, how to make them, part of your collaborative process and say, okay, listen, this is a music video. Let me show you your brand in some different way that we can, and, not with your context of how you've been showing and what your 8 seconds of visibility and all of that nonsense. I feel like, don't come with a set pattern. So is there any thoughts with you, Madhura or JD? I mean, I'm sure like there are so many brands. So let's make a commercial. I rather say कि अगर पैसा है तो let's make a commercial. Na? Don't put and then make us show
That
this.
is actually basically that is the first point of discussion. Like we're looking at a music video, we're not looking at a commercial here.
Yeah.
So very on the call with the brands, we have to sort of make that distinction. कि it's not an outright commercial. That's a very different zone. This is a music video plus the kind of visuals that you're trying to incorporate the brand in. That is a very different ball game. So the first step is to actually try to explain it to them कि it's not 100% control of the brand. There's a creative vision that was in place before, and we thought that the brand would fit in very comfortably in this or organically in this. And basically there are pros and cons like you mentioned. Some brands are very okay open, and they trust the artist and they trust the team to an extent.
They just
And
want to
give a
get
lot of
Yeah.
money also.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the only pro I can think of.
I mean,
You get a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah, of
You
course.
can do stuff with that, na?
Yeah, I mean,
Action-wise.
of course, like, you know, I mean, otherwise it will stay a low budget film. At least you
Yeah.
place a brand and then suddenly there's some money to
Yeah,
pull on
personally,
live.
because I hate brand endorsements when it comes in between music video. It
Yeah.
really kills the flow. It kills the essence of the video. And you know, brands are so like they need 9 to 15 seconds, and then
Yeah, they're
even
very
if you cut for a
particular
second,
about
and then
And then
they
you
fight
need
back
like
for
a
it.
visibility on the logo. I agree,
Correct.
like, you know, you're giving us the budget to do it, but then I think there should be a fair balance. That's where the managers, the A&R, like the label comes in
Exactly.
place, because if the managers are keen on like telling them like what are we going to deliver, like the communication should be quite clear with the brand. And then the brief has to given quite to the director as well. Like, okay,
Exactly.
this is the product, this is exactly what they want, so that the director also has enough time to, you know, place the product into the video in a very seamless way. Like if you watch a DJ Khaled music video, the way he puts, he's a master of placement of, you know, brand, right?
They
The
do
way he
international-
the way he puts it, it's like it's not forced, it's right there. So choosing the brand that fits with the artist is very important. Like you can't just bring like, you know,
yeah.
brand that doesn't fit the artist. And I think that's where it just looks.
Abhinay, I mean, of course, like you are on the floor, but like it's a very different perspective through you, I think, because you're shooting that product along with an artist and trying to capture it all in a frame. You know, how do you tackle these kind of, you know, because you come with your own science of, you know, let's say magnification, uses of lens, or, you know, what kind of composition you want to do, right? And then suddenly there is someone in the set, like there's someone in the set who's saying, "ये बड़ा कर दे या इसको थोड़ा focus में ले ले."
Close-up
Like,
shot को wide कर
close-up, like, you know, those kind of things. It happens. We all
Yeah,
are part of
definitely.
the.
I think so. You have to take 2 shots, one for the producer and one for the director. So
And one for yourself.
one for yourself. So
One for Rishabh.
Yeah, most of it, my DOP friends does that. On shoot, like if they know I'm editing, they are like, ये ऋषभ के लिए कुछ वाकड़ा shot लेते.
So I
करेगा
think-
कुछ ना कुछ.
Yeah, you should always convince your producers, you know, that this shot may work, you can use it as an option. And there are times when, you know, like those shots actually work on the edit. Even for the music video Big Dogs, you know, we had the liquor pouring shot.
Yeah.
So that the brand didn't want that, but I think we came up in a way where it also does justice to the music video and for the brand.
Yeah, it's
So
so
we have to
tastefully
be
done, yeah,
creative
yeah.
in a way, you know, like it can't be just
It
10-second shot out of nowhere. So
And you can't
needs
also
to,
like
revolve around
you
the
can-
story.
Yeah, you can't just say like, you know what, no, this doesn't fit us. We as that's our job, right? As being
Yeah.
creatives, we have to find a balance, because like we said, like, you know, the budget also is important. If you and brands are the only way that you, like, especially in the music video industry, like brands are the only way where you can increase your budget a little bit and you can do something creative around that. So I think it's our job to like be creative at that spot. And
I mean, I'm still struggling in life to find that balance, honestly. Like, you know, I'm
I
always
think me
lost,
too,
like,
but
Because
you know,
now you're producer director, no? That's why, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, see, that
can't
depends,
do- you
like,
can't do everything, and you know, then it's like.
right? In this era of referencing and inspiration, I just want to know, like, you know, what is the most unconventional influence that has come to you and said, no, this is what we want to put in our music video? You know, for a personal experience, there was this video that we put out called as Mandi. So once literally in a market, we realized, you know, why don't we shoot this market and just put it in loop, because it's just going in loop. So that was the most unconventional way of an idea that I got. Maybe in edit. You know, you can find a lot of tutorials and references as what people have done, but the original.
Yeah, at times when I get stuck with the edit, that is the time when I go and look for some references. Not to copy, but take some inspiration out of that and create something on your own, you know. So it's like that on post-production for me.
I mean, it's very bizarre. Because when you sit in a room with artists, I think it's like literally while we were planning to shoot Yashraj, and that's a fact, we ran out of options to shoot. We did not have a location. And a week or 10 days before the shoot, like the crew and Yashraj, we went to Caterpillar. And we were just drinking. And he's like, यहाँ पे shoot करते हैं. We ended up shooting there.
That's how you
So,
probably
I
find
mean,
some of the
that's
locations in
how it
Bombay.
is. Like, that's how bizarre it is. Like, sometimes you don't know how some things just sort of fall into place, and then you trust it, and then you get what it is right now.
Yes, for me, I think it was 359, which,
It blew up.
Yeah, so basically 359, Prashant again was working with me on that project, and we made a brilliant treatment with a nice high-end budget and everything. Everything was almost locked, and then Divine just said, you know what, just take the camera, come with me. And it was me and Deepak that took the camera and went, and it was just simple visuals that we put out, and that's one of my biggest music videos that's out there right now. So I think just that instant of, like, this is going to work or what, again comes from the artist, but also as a director or has a teammate, you have to be up for taking that, you know what, let me scrap the idea that I had and let's go with this and see how it goes. Because, like, the concept that we had for 359 was way different than what it was, but it still got justice to, and it's one of, like, the biggest videos out there. So yeah.
Abhinay, you was talking about movements in general, right? So curious to know about, if in your cinematography, does movements generally inspire you a lot?
Yes, definitely. I think it's also when you talked about the inspiration, right? Like, how do you get inspired? I think India is full of inspiration book. Like, every state has its own different textures and colors. So I think there's a lot that we can explore within our own country and not try to adapt to a Western world. So I think we can take inspiration from our own home ground. So I don't know if that answers your
Yeah,
question.
it's kind of perfect. I think along with inspiration, let's talk about also risks that you take. I think one of the best example is Big Dogs at the moment. You know, when you look at it, you get that adrenaline, like, oh, that's risky. And the results we all
Boy has
know.
been spinning for what 4 or 5 hours straight with the camera,
Yeah.
tracking the artist.
Yeah, even the artist, even the crew, like, you know as creators that there is risk involved in that, And not let's not talk only about the physical risk. I'm talking about, like, in general risk as a personality, right? Some artists tend to do a music video that's completely off
Very opposite of.
their zone, like imagine, like, someone saying, okay, no, I want to, someone who's been doing only performance films now suddenly wants to do a completely acting into it. And as a director, you're like, can you do it, can you not do it? So that's also, I think.
But I think, like, as a creative person, you have to make the artist comfortable. You have to sort of give them a heads up. This is how the camera is going to be rigged, and you are safe, and those kind of things. So you have to make your own artist comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah.
and also the most important thing, I think, just don't tell the artist. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes, like,
absolutely, yeah,
I remember we were on set of Gunegar.
I was just about to say that only.
Yeah, so go ahead, go. You can say. So we were
You
on
know
set
the
on,
story
yeah,
better.
we were on set on Gunegar, and there was this one shot. So if you see the video, there's Sanam, shout out Sanam. Um, there was a moment where I just had Divine in the center, and I just told him just perform, and he didn't know what was going on. And Sanam comes, and there's a shot where you see he's exactly so close with the car drifting around, and now the camera is on, and Vivian is performing. So he was comfortable to do that because I didn't tell him what's happening. The second thing, I kept Divine and the boys, and now the boys have no idea there's a car coming from back. And the car came from back and it took a turn around, but because the camera was on, they could not react because they would have spoiled my shot, and they don't want to do that. But yeah, sometimes you have to take the risk of not telling the artist, because then the artist gets conscious of what's going on. But that doesn't mean you don't tell him that there's a car
Yeah.
coming behind you. But yeah, you have to play smart.
I mean, selective briefing.
Yes.
We do that.
But I think once you overpower that risk, something beautiful comes out. I mean, for you also, Rishabh, like, once you're working with someone new.
For
like,
me, bro, until and unless it comes till me, वो risk लेना हो चुका है या होने वाला है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं, वो हो चुका है, already risk ले लिया है.
No,
It's
but
always
in
the
edit
producer.
also. Like in edit also.
Yeah, sometimes I go out of the brief and create some stuff
Exactly.
which clicks, and the directors and the artist also love. Yeah, but you should be taking that risk, for
Exactly.
something to turn out really cool and new.
But on the flip side, I mean, there are colossal fails also.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just time
you
waste
live and
कर दिया,
learn
ऐसा करते
types.
क्या?
And Rishabh is quite smart like that, okay? So he will first show you the wrist shot, and he's already done the shot that you have briefed, and he show you the shot, and he say, JD भाई ये कैसा दिख रहा है? And I'll be like, wow, like हाँ ये मैंने अभी मैं पर आपका भी बनाया है वो देख लेना.
So always JD comes in. I have three options: one of my own, and one I know which JD will like, and one ऐसी एक
And
risk लेके
and one
करते
is a risk factor which always has worked for us.
हैं. Yeah, 100% every time.
Like I remember we were doing this MC stand video, and there was this one shot where we needed to do some masking and stuff. But I just briefed him like I just want just one masking to be done. But this guy did the entire video, like specific shots around. And when I look at them, I'm like, wow, this is absolutely.
That's when
stunning.
Stitch Media comes into picture, my friends.
Yes, he really stitched it right there.
What's the most favorite out of? So I look at music videos can be categorized into three types. You know, one is the performance, be it any genre, be it hip hop, be it a very soul Bollywood song or rock music, anything. It can be a performance video. Then it can be a narrative. You know, you can tell a story through it. Or then the third is an abstract. So my personal favorite is when you can tell a story through abstract. Yeah, that's what.
That's
my,
your style, bro.
yeah, like I personally like that. You know, when you're showing something but you're trying to say something else, right? Like that's my personal taste. What's your pick out of these three? What do you guys enjoy doing more? Because for sure, performance is also, you know, people thought that it's just rapping in front of camera, but then you know how you are putting, you know, how every time you have to think of a concept, the art, the colors, the costume.
I mean, when you say performance, it's not just like you tell the artist to perform because then it's boring, right? But I think to answer your question the right way, like for me, it's like I love performance videos, performance infusing fashion in it and a lot of style because that's my personality. That's who I am. Like I can get the best out of the artist because that's how I vision myself to be. Like maybe for you it's abstract because that's your personality as a director, and for someone else it could be storytelling. So I think that's on how like you are as a creative to go on. And if it is supposed to be like if on my preferences, again I like performance videos as well as abstract. A little bit of storytelling, but only if it's done the right way.
Like just small
Yeah.
scenes or something.
Yeah.
Madhura, what do you pursue? I'm so curious to know, like, you know, in between commissioning so many projects, what projects do you like? Is it the performance,
I
visually
mean,
master, well done? Or?
I whole and soul in narratives. Yeah.
It is a story being told. Yeah, correct.
I mean, I feel like it tends to get tedious, but the end result is what basically makes me sort of come back to this form of art again and again.
And in a market like India, I think what can travel the most is narrative. Like Husn
Yeah.
by Anujan, it
Yeah.
resonates with such a big audience. There's a reason behind it, right? There's a
Correct.
narrative, there's a story going
Yeah.
on where every college kid or probably dancers are relating themselves to. So narrative kind of travels more, right?
Sometimes you can also infuse both. Like if it's a performance video and
Yeah.
there's like most of the hip hop videos have like a skit which is also narrative and that leads to
Yeah.
like a performance. So you need to be
Like Rider, for example, just
Yes.
has a small nuance, just a
Yes.
setup, and
Yes.
then it's narrative. Then you know, then you're
yes,
performing.
you know, yeah.
Rishabh, you, I mean, of course.
Oh,
I
bro,
think
for me, dance always excites me. Like whenever there is dance in a music video. But apart from that, I think I've cut a lot of music videos, be it hip hop or Bollywood. Like a very good friend, Piyush Shazia. Shout out to Piyush Shazia. Like they gave me a break into Bollywood. My first song for Kartik Aaryan's film Freddy, which was with them, and I've done a lot of like bunch of music videos with them. Like I have 5, 6 music videos coming with them. So it's always fun cutting dance and artists together and syncing everything, every movement according to the music. You know, I keep on hearing the music on loop, and you get to know each and every instrument of the music, and then later on you go and you edit in your mind, and then you sit on the table and just finish it off.
But do you like all it? You like it all? Do you like also narrative?
It's,
Like sometimes.
no. It's nothing like that for me, but narrative is
Yeah,
in the
I get it.
bottom of the list for me. Yeah, for sure.
Abhinay, you?
I think for me it's everything, you know, like
You
whatever you
enjoy
give
it all,
me,
like,
I
every
enjoy
process.
it all because it also helps me explore how I can see the world in a different way, in
How
different genres. So
But I think when you're directing, it's my understanding or my reading that you kind of like more abstract stuff also.
yeah, I
you know,
do
I've seen-
like more of abstract stuff
which is
He's
like-
an
making
abstract
some money,
boy.
Yeah.
because
I've seen like
it's something that I don't know. You cannot predict every time you do something. You know, it just comes out of me. You know,
That's art, bro.
yeah, that's so.
if
Yeah.
you can mix art, commercial, and science, all three, that's when beauty happens. Is what I think. You know, like.
So yeah, for me it's everything. Like I like photographing, so whatever you give me, it's my duty to make the vision right to the table.
But still, like if like how Rishabh
being
said,
too
even
So
modest
for
now.
me, narrative will be on the top.
narrative would be on the
Yeah,
top. Oh,
narrative will be
crazy.
on. Second will be abstract, and third will be performance. Yeah, but narrative will be on the top. Yeah.
At least we have someone like Madhura also, yes, narrative, but
Bro, I
through
like
Dable,
narrative
Yeah.
too, but
I
you
also
just
like
asked-
it, bro.
you
Eventually,
asked
I want to
you
get
asked
there.
our
I'm
preference, so I
not
gave you
going
my
opposite.
preference.
like for
What's the
example,
preference? What's that?
I don't enjoy it much. Not just to make it, but to consume it also. Maybe like he's rightly said, it's about who you are as a personality also.
Exactly,
This
yeah.
thing can matter.
Also, with like different set of artists, they know what their fans and their community sort of enjoy as well. Like there are set of artists who know that this artist is delivering narratives very well. For example, Anuv Jain's visuals are very story ridden. So they know that there is a character he's kept in his mind and written their entire song about. And that's what we try to sort of wove into and make it a like entire piece to everyone for to see. So I feel like it's also very artist based for us to check with them and understand, okay, if this is something that requires.
Because there's a
Yeah.
marketing thing also going
Yeah.
on. What
Exactly,
works for them,
yeah.
How do you want to surprise
Exactly.
someone new time? So okay, like I think I'll kind of bring this to the end with like some personal questions in a way that, you know, like because we are talking about people, like you know, this is kind of giving voices to the ears who are curious to know how we are, whatever we did, small, big, whatever we did so far, you know, for them to get a window. I mean, you know, I just want to ask everyone out here, like, what was this one thing that kind of stayed with you guys? Somebody told you when you joined this industry. Like, is there a moment where you thought, like, you know, somebody told you something? Could be as simple as, okay, hard work pays off. But, you know, is there something that somebody told you that motivated you and kept you going?
Someone told me you're a bad photographer.
Someone told you that you're a bad photographer.
that's
Also,
how-
criticism kind of.
Yeah, and that's
Did
how.
I tell you that? No.
No, I was. So, of course, that kind of
Yeah, that kind
makes
of
you more
made me-
hungry, and
yeah.
you know you are like, okay, let's go now, you know. So yeah, but is there something, Rishabh?
No,
like,
I
because
can't
you're
really
editing, you are a
think
dancer.
anything about it.
You are a dancer, probably. You know, you wanted to get into choreography or dancing or continue dancing. How did like something must have changed you and gotten into editing?
No, to be honest, when I used to dance and then I came across a lot of creative individuals in Thakur College. And then it's a very strange story how I used to teach dance and one of my colleagues, Shravan Bali, is here. A very cool guy who's doing really well in slip disc pictures now as a producer, content creator. So he told me that he's joining this course at Mac. So I was like, bro, BMM to le liya है, अभी तेरे पीछे पीछे मैं भी
BMM, I think
आ
all
जाता हूँ.
four. I think I'm done BMM. BMM. No.
No, he's a film school guy, no.
Straight up film school.
इसके पास बहुत पैसा है.
There's so many BMM people out here. I'm sure. Like, can BMM people raise their hands? See.
कुछ फायदा नहीं हुआ पर पढ़ के
वही. So that was the time like I was thinking कि BMM तो ले लिया, but we need to do something rather than dancing, right? So that was the time when I went to Mac, paid all the expenses. But then it turned out to be so slow that I bought a MacBook and went back home, opened YouTube and how to edit.
let's go.
Yeah, that is where I think learned everything from, and then I just didn't go back to Mac, and everything started from YouTube, and that's I'm a learner. Like I'm never like you know.
You have to like revive yourself.
You need to
yeah.
keep on learning, and you need to keep on updating with the new trend, whatever is going on, whatever is, and you need to keep updated. You know.
Yeah, I think and the best way to look into competition is to compete with yourself, with your last project. I think the best
Exactly.
way to go about it is like looking at your last project and feeling like, okay, let's do something else the next time, right? Okay, so let's,
Yes.
like people always ask about do's and don'ts, right? So I wouldn't ask what should people do. Let's leave it to them, let's let them decide that. But is there any don'ts? I think that's
पैसे
the
के
last
पीछे
question.
मत भागो भाई.
पैसे के पीछे मत
पैसे
भागो.
आ
Wow.
जाएगा
Wow.
पैसे आ जाएगा पैसे को तेरे पीछे भागते आएगा
yes,
you
yes.
don't need to
That's
run
all I
behind
would
money.
say.
Just create and create and create till you hit the right spot for yourself. That's
Yeah,
sweet
keep
spot for
creating,
yourself.
keep making. The better you make, the better you create, the better you get.
And also now there's
Yeah.
a lot of competition out there. It's not just one or two directors or two editors.
In every
And
field, in every field, I would say.
And it's also inspiring at one time because like back in the day there were just I could literally count like directors on my fingers and say oh hip hop industry में तीन चुन के तीन चार ही director लोग हैं वो DOPs for a fact. But now you just go on YouTube and you type there are like so many young kids who are doing remarkable job, right? So yeah.
And I also keep meeting so many DPs or other technicians on a very commercial set. They make so much more money, but they always sneak in and say, "यार कुछ music video रहेगा तो बताना," because it's like living a dream.
But they'll never get it because they're running behind money.
Maybe.
That is the thing.
But as a
what I
passion
feel,
project
that is
or
for me,
something, yeah.
my opinion.
Also, then they are not ready to adjust. Like we said, music videos don't have such big.
Can't
product.
come with, like,
so
spot
if you
boys
are,
and, like,
if you are
yeah.
used to using like big guns, like big cameras around, and then suddenly you can't. You can be the best DOP or best editor or best anyone in the industry, but if you don't give them the right equipments, they cannot give you a good product.
Madhura, what do you say? Especially for newbies, like, who might be reaching out to artists, labels for work.
Yeah.
Is there something that you feel that they shouldn't do in a way like that?
I mean, generally, this is for everyone. Like, pick the right battle. Like, you have to be like very open, adaptive to what you have to do. Like, your first project would. I feel like the first project would not be like the ideal project that you want to start off with. But keep an open mind. You never know, like, you have to take those 10 steps to come back to what the initial idea in your head was. So keep at it. Don't just be like, okay, and enter rooms irrespective of if you have a say and you don't have a say, just enter, because there's so many people with so many bright ideas. You never know, you might meet the right people, the right crew, and that might
You eventually
just,
find it, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we all started somewhere. Like,
Exactly.
we all like kaise, I
Shooting
don't know,
birthday parties and wedding
like,
films.
really, like,
It's just-
being not knowing anything, and we all started. But you eventually find your tribe. Is the
Correct,
most
yeah.
important part. I think. Abhinay, is there something that you are the youngest out of our bunch. Like, really, like just to put age into number, but like really, I want to know, like, if there's something that you feel that people shouldn't do in the
So
long run.
I'll say there's no don'ts, but there's only do's. Like, don't be idle at home. If you have no projects, just go out, take your camera and shoot something.
Keep creating.
Keep
like
creating.
you said.
Yeah, just keep looking things around you. You can inspire by anything. Like, so.
Perfect. I think with this note, I think we can, bring this panel towards the end for now. Thank you so much, guys. Like, it's such a pleasure.
thank you for
Thank
having
you
us.
so
Such a
much,
pleasure.
Prashant, for taking an
Thank you, bro.
initiative
Thank
to
you,
do
thank
something
you.
like that, because I feel the younger crowd, the younger creators need to know the process. Like you said, it's not the final product, but the process that's involved. And we as creators, we don't get time to explain how it's done. We are just sharing it. Okay, this is directed by me or produced by me, but we don't have the time. Even the BTS now, we don't have the time to. There's so much of BTS remaining to like get out. But yeah, I'm also looking for an editor for my BTS, so let's go. But yeah,
Nice, I'm
thank
sure,
you so
yeah.
much again for having all of us, and
It's such a total
let's
pleasure, yeah.
enjoy for a pasta party now.
Yeah. Looking forward for that. So this event, Guru Therapy Pratik is kind of helping us curate this. Greater Than has been so kind and sponsoring us all our pasta parties.
Shout out
over there.
everybody that's
Yeah.
involved in this.
And Crude is like powering this.
Yes,
So they are the
shout
ones
out
who
to
like
Crude.
designed merchandises for film crew, like, and we thought it's a great association to have them together. I think let's enjoy the night. Thank you so much once again.
Thank
yeah?
you.
I
Thank
think
you,
let's
Prashant.
end
Thank
the
you,
video.
Pasta
Cheers,
Studios.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys. Yeah,
Thank you.